Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. I say that wrong every time, but I just like saying it. It's like satisfying. Whatever. Hello. So I am recording this podcast on the bathroom floor because we are still in California and we are still taking care of my grandparents and just spending time with them and visiting family all around in this area. It's so much fun. It's also hard work, and it requires extreme patience, not just because of grandparents, but we're also taking care of a 1-year-old in a house that's not very, child-proof, and I'm also working from home, and it's also really nice out, 60s and 70s. So, and so there's a lot to do at the house, and there's a lot to do with the baby, and there's a lot to do with work. And so it's just maintaining. Plus, I like to have this outlet with this podcast. And then also, my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to this podcast, please do it. Leave a review. If you listen to any other podcasts, if you listen to any other of my episodes, please do. Or give this a, rating, subscribe, send it to a friend. Thank you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be so amazing. Thank you. My YouTube channel is Georgia Hertzberg. But yeah, anyways. So I have these outlets that I really enjoy. I find are helpful as like a new mom. You need to have some sort of something that you are putting out. For me, for you, if you're a new mom, it might be like, evangelizing, which that is for me as well. Or like maybe you have a home group, or maybe you are crocheting, or maybe you do puzzles, or maybe you have like coffee dates with friends. I don't know, whatever it is. But like when I'm not able to go and be social, like this podcast and my YouTube videos are some amazing outlets for me when I have to be at home by myself, but I get to still share, and I get to just be creative. Sometimes I'm not always sharing, but I get to be creative, when I'm not recording, I'm being creative and fun, and it's an outlet. And so you have to have that. Even if you're a new dad, you have to have some sort of outlet, like something that you're working towards, a goal, a vision, you know what I mean? In addition to everything else that you're doing, work and just normal life, So that's a lot, and I am excited to get back to our normal life, but I'm just enjoying the time we have here, as we don't have that much more time, but the weather is fabulous in Southern California. I could live here forever. It would be amazing. But the Lord hasn't called us here long term as of yet. And so we'll return home. That's where we're called, and we won't move until the Lord calls. But I know that there's going to be some amazing adventures ahead, because it's funny. I don't know if maybe you have this where you feel like you have a forever home. Like, let's say you were raised in Indiana or something, and or like New York. Someone from like New York, I feel like I could be, wrong, but if you're from New York, maybe you grew up there and you travel around, you live in different places, but like, that you want to forever live in New York. I would think so. I feel like someone from New York, it's like a total lifestyle, and anywhere else is completely different. I think California is a similar situation. Like, nothing is like California. It's its own animal, it's its own world, it's its own country, and everything is completely different everywhere else. So if you're gonna live in California, you better be a fiddle in a band because, you know, if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. It's like that, you know. So anyways, yeah. So we're going to be heading home soon. It'll be good. But the time that we have here is special as well. And I'm not trying to rush that by any means because honestly, it's like something fun. Anyways, I was saying, I'm going to go back to where I was. I'm going in rabbit trails. But sometimes you feel like you have a forever home. Caleb and I have never felt that as of yet. We don't know where we're going to forever live or raise our kids and live forever. We just don't have that. I know a lot of people live in a place and they never want to leave. We don't have that. I've always felt, you know, we'll be living in lots of different... I've always felt that I'm going to live in lots of different places all over the world. I would love to live in Australia for a few years or live in New Zealand for a few years and, you know, move around. Like I really, you know, live in Europe for a while, live in Indonesia, live in Thailand, live all over the world, live in lots of different places in the United States. You know, South America, you know, lots of places. I never really felt, you know, we were going to live in one place. And maybe we'll stay in the United States our whole lives, you know, but I never really felt like we had a place that we were going to live forever. I felt, and it's funny because now Caleb kind of feels the same way. So it's really an interesting situation, you know, and I wonder if a lot of people our age feel this way or if it's like the millennial kids, the millennial people. We're old now, but you know, the people that were millennials, which felt like forever, we were kids forever, but now we're like kind of parent stage, having kids stage, and I wonder if that kind of generation just doesn't want to stay still, you know? I feel like a lot of the millennials now are living in vans and traveling the world, you know, backpacking, that kind of thing. So, yeah, so we'll see wherever the Lord takes us. And hopefully you'll be along for the ride, hey? You know, hopefully. Okay, so today's podcast, we can start. Today's podcast is unique. I kind of got this idea from another podcast I heard, but I kind of made a rendition and made it my own. I love Would You Rather, and I love that whole concept. It's so much fun to think about. It's kind of fun, just kind of shooting the breeze for this podcast, but I wanted to make it sports edition. I heard another person make a podcast like this, but they made it whatever they're interested in, and it was really fun. I didn't think I would be interested, but then when I listened to it, I was super into it. And so I really wanted to do like a sports edition, and I didn't think it would be, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but when I looked at the questions I kind of picked out, I really like them. And who knows, we might have I'm planning on doing a part 1 and a part 2. We'll see if that pans out. And if we do a part 2, we might have a special guest. But no promises. So we might just be doing this again, but with different questions. Or maybe we'll have a fun person with us. Hopefully I'm fun too, but to each his own. Okay, let's begin. Would you rather be the star of a bad team or an average player on an elite team? Gosh, this is hard. Now, I just want to, before I start answering or anything, I did look at a few, but like very briefly, and I didn't take the time to think about it. So I kind of looked at them and kind of liked these questions, but a lot of these, almost 99% of these questions will be like I'm off the cuff. Like I have not looked at them. I'm not previewing them. I'm not overthinking. I'm not like thinking about them ahead of time. This is just like I'm seeing them and hearing them for the first time like you are. So just so you know. So I might need to extrovert and talk about it, which I will, as you know. I have to yawn for you. It's just part of the theatrical part of this podcast. Okay. Would you rather be the star of a bad team or an average player on an elite team? Man, this is hard. You know, I feel like I've done both in real life. When I was in private school, when I was really young, I was really, really tall, like a foot taller than everybody in 6th grade and 5th and 6th grade, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, or 5th and 6th, something like that. I was really tall. No, it was 6th grade. And I was just naturally good at basketball. So I tried basketball, I was good at it. So I obviously wanted to play, but I was like really good compared to everybody. Like the coaches would just tell me to do something and I would do it. And then I could just do whatever they told me to do. You know what I mean? And not everybody could do that. And then later on in high school, I was like an average player. Like I played on this super elite team where everybody went D1 except me and one other girl. And I was a super average, if not below average player on this team. But I learned a lot, you know. Both of them have their perks. So here's how I'm going to answer that. I feel like this is a coach asking a team. No. I'm not going to go with that. It would be... Okay, it's super fun to be the star of the team on a bad team because you can everybody looks to you. That is a fun situation. But if you're an average player on an elite team, then you get, like, you always want to surround yourself with people that know more than you and that can teach you more. So even if you're the same, let's say you're the same person but you're super good on one team, but you're an average player on the other, you know? And so I think, honestly, I would want to be the average player on an elite team because you have room to grow and to learn and to get better at the game. Whereas if you're the star on a bad team, you're the one teaching others, which has its perks and is fun, but that really gets old really, really quick. And I experienced that as well. And being an average player is hard. It can be hard on an elite team where people are potentially more athletic than you, you know, better at the ball handling skills, better at shooting, better at lots of different things. But it keeps the game interesting, I think, compared to being the star on a team. I think being the star can make the game a little mundane after a while. Like, it will last for a while. It will be really great for a while. But I think after a while, it will really get mundane. And if you're with them, let's say in a high school team, you're with them for 4 years, and it's just over and over the same thing. Excuse me, and you're with them for 4 years and you move up in age, and yeah, definitely, I would say an average player on an elite team, that would be my go-to. Okay, next. Would you rather win the MVP award, which, I don't know if you know what that means. If you don't know what that means, it's fine. Most Valuable Player award, or a team championship? Definitely a team championship. I don't have to think too much about that. MVP is really cool, especially if you have like letter jacket in high school. I think it'd be fun to win that also in college. But I think a team championship, like, you just grow so close to your teammates and you just bond with them. Like, like no one else, because you go through something really hard together. You struggle, you go through the really hard practices. You're running, you're like out of breath, you're tired, your body's sore after every practice for day in and day out for 2 days. You're in pain and you're sore and your feet are bloody and you're whatever, and you've been running and you do all these, like crushers, and you're doing sit-ups and push-ups and drill after drill after drill and learning new things, and you're spending hours and hours on the court every single day to win that championship. So you just bond with your coach and you bond with your teammates and you build lifelong friends that you could call on at any moment in life, and it's like nothing ever changed because you built this crazy bond with people that you can never build with anyone else. It's unlike any other situation in life. Yeah, there's maybe similar things, but like you don't go through something like that for a year or years at a time. 4 years, perhaps, if you play, all 4 years in sports. But a team championship, I want to say takes the cake, bro. Yeah. Would you rather watch a regular season game courtside or a high-stakes playoff game from the rafters? Ooh. I think a high-stakes playoff game from the rafters. Why, you say? Because high-stakes anything is bomb, delicious amazingness. High-stakes anything is so much fun. Plus a playoff game. Plus the rafters are... There's something like... something... I want to say nostalgic. Maybe it's nostalgic for me as a child. Like in childhood, I would get like tickets from our neighbor and a family friend. Like randomly. Like she'd be like... Her and her daughter were good friends of our family. And she would last minute be like... Hey, you want to go to this game, Do you want to go to this game? Whatever. Can you come? And she just had these, like, tickets that were way up in the nosebleeds. But it was, like, fun. And you got fun snacks. And you went and watched the game. And you cheered them on. And you just learned more about the game. And you enjoyed yourself and had, hung out with friends. Because when you're watching those high-stakes games, you're getting all rowdy with your friends and riled up, and it's just so much fun. But if you're watching, like, a regular game, like, courtside, that's fun, too, and it can get rowdy. But I think that the part of the high-stakes playoff game just takes it to another level. Even though you're far away, you can still see the game, and it probably looks like you're on a TV, watching it from a TV screen, because they're so little, but you're still there. You're in person, and it's at the high-stakes game, and you can get your snacks better that way, You can go to the bathroom that way better, and you don't have to, like, when it's halftime, you could run to the bathroom and be back before, the people at the mid-court can even get up there. And then by then, the line is, like, half a mile long. But no, you were up in the rafters, so you got to the bathroom first, and you got your snacks. And then you went back to your seat before anyone even got out of their seats. I mean, that alone is a reason why you would want the nosebleeds. Oh, I'm just saying. Touche. Kudos, Okay, anyways. Would you rather win the World Series or the Super Bowl? Ooh, yeah. I'm more of a football kind of gal. Baseball's cool and all. Softball's cool. But, I'm definitely more of a Super Bowl football kind of gal. I grew up with it. It's kind of... something my family always watches and gathered together. All my friends growing up were like that, and, they played drafts and all of that. And I think a Super Bowl is much, much cooler, much more valued in the United States. Not that the World Series isn't, but I just feel like baseball's kind of a dying sport. May or may not be actually dying. That's just a maybe fact, a true maybe fact. If you don't know what a true maybe fact is, it's a joke that Caleb and I have where he would go to the zoo, every time we go to the zoo, he will pretend he's like, that Australian guy that died, and he'd be like, yeah, a true maybe fact, I can't do the accent, is that these giraffes actually use these spots to be camouflaged, or like this is a true maybe fact that these spots actually peel off in the summers, in the winters, but you never see it because they're not out in the winter, but they do peel off, actually like fake funny facts that you would think could be true, but there's no way. Okay, next. Would you rather take responsibility for losing the championship or having a teammate take credit for the win when you deserve it? Okay, this kind of goes back into a deep-seated fear I used to have growing up. The biggest regret that I have in sports, and I knew it when I was playing, this isn't what I was talking about, but would you rather take responsibility for losing the championship or have a teammate take credit for the win when you deserve it? See, I never wanted to make our team lose. I got bullied a little bit when I first came to our public school, and I made this traveling team or whatever. And I just was bullied a little bit that I didn't know how to play the game like everybody else did on this more elite team, traveling team. And so I never wanted to make people lose, so I didn't take as many risks. Or if I would have known, I have a little bit more confidence now, and, I'm not afraid to take chances, just like being more carefree. If I had the same understanding about my relationship with the Lord, I think I would have, take more chances and had a better experience in sports. All that to say, I think I never really want to make the team lose the championship, so I think I would have a teammate take credit for the win when you deserve it. Just because I wouldn't ever want to be the reason we lost a game. You know what I mean? It's one thing, everything adds up, but if, you're the clear reason why, I dread that. Yeah. Because if somebody took the credit if I were to deserve it or whatever, that's on them, and I would be like, well, I really clearly did that, but if they want to take the credit, the whole story wouldn't add up unless, they heard the whole story, and maybe they'll make it up or whatever, but whatever. I think that's just a little bit easier for me personally than making the whole team lose. Okay, next. Would you rather ensure overtime or risk losing and win in regulation? It's kind of a complicated question. Would you rather ensure overtime, okay, or risk losing and win in regulation? I'm thinking. Risk losing. Honestly, okay, so in my head, I want to say risk losing and win in regulation just because I want to say that, but I think if I were to actually do it, I would probably ensure overtime. I think that's the bet my coaches would take, a more safe route. Ensure that overtime. And then go from there, but risk losing and win in regulation time. But I've seen my coaches do the same thing, but I think it might be more fun to risk the losing. What the heck? I'm going to say risk losing and win in regulation just because. I probably don't know. Yeah, I'm going to say risk losing. I don't have too much to say about that. Would you rather retire as a forgotten coach with a winning record or a famous coach known to lose championships? Oh, that would be the worst. I think it wouldn't be famous. It would be infamous at that point. If you were known to lose championships. I think I would rather retire as a forgotten coach with a winning record, just because it's on your own conscience and it's on your own, you left doing your very best with a winning record, even though nobody else knows. You know what I mean? I think honestly that's what I would choose. Yeah, nobody remembers me, nobody remembers the games I helped coach, except my players, or maybe even they forgot. But I know, and I think that's enough, Yeah. Would you rather be an average player with a good reputation or an elite player with rumors of cheating? I definitely wouldn't want the rumors of cheating. But then the rumors might not be true. But I guess I would rather be, a good reputation for athletes really goes a long way and makes a big difference. So you know what? I'm going to say average player with a good reputation, because that speaks volumes to this generation. And an athlete that has a good reputation, it means a lot. It means a lot to families. It means a lot to parents. It means a lot to kids. It means a lot to, as a citizen of the United States, or any country for that matter. Just be a good person, bro. Just because you are famous and you have a talent doesn't give you the right to treat other people poorly, or cheat, or do whatever it takes to step on people to get where you want to go. It just doesn't really add up. And it ain't right, bro. Would you rather coach a college or professional team? I think professional. I think it would be invigorating, more fun. I think maybe there's more opportunities, perhaps, with a professional team. Maybe more challenges, maybe. I don't know. I think professional I'm more familiar with than college. There's probably a few different rules, but I think professional. Okay. Would you rather have really cool uniforms with a rundown stadium, or a state-of-the-art stadium with ugly uniforms? Man, that just doesn't add up. I think a state-of-the-art stadium with ugly uniforms. Well, the only thing that's seen on the TV, you don't see the whole stadium on TV necessarily. Maybe you see the grass, the turf, but you see the uniforms the entire game. So you know what? I changed my vote. I'm going to say a really, really cool uniforms with a rundown stadium. Yes. Final answer. Because the screen, the TV sees your uniforms and is focused on that the entire game. If you just have some crazy neon pink and green uniforms, man, people are gonna wig out. That's just not gonna work. Okay. Next, would you rather get paid a lot to be on a bad team or paid below average to be on an elite team? I know this kind of goes against what I said earlier, but I think if you're talking like a professional as a job, I think I would rather get paid a lot, maybe for a little while. I think I would want to do both, but do one at a time. Like I would, in the beginning, get paid a lot to be on a bad team, just because to save money, whatever, pay off debt, and then get paid below average to be on a really elite team, just so you can grow and change. And it would be really cool to be on an elite team. You know what I mean? Yeah. Would you rather have a long, average playing career or a short, fantastic career cut short by injury? It really depends on how short and how long. I think in life, I would actually choose have a long, average playing career and get, paid your whole life. But I think on this, I want to choose a short, fantastic career cut short by injury. Just because, I don't know, it's kind of like a fantasy, like a short, fantastic career cut short by injury. I mean, that kind of happened to me. Well, not really, kind of. But, yeah. Yo, bro, I'm getting tired. Maybe I'll answer a few more here. Okay. Would you rather own the record for most points scored or most championships? Most championships. Would you rather be an elite or underdog player? Ooh, underdog. Yes, everybody loves a good underdog. Yes, underdog. Next, would you rather stay on a below average team? This is kind of getting repetitive, and I'm kind of getting sorry about that. Would you rather stay on a below average team or join your rival and win a title? Join your rival, win a title. Work out your rival hate and win a title. Would you rather be a team player or a singular star? Team player, honestly. It's what it's all about, bro. Being a team player. Would you rather pass or score? Score, man. Score. I want to score. I feel like my husband would say pass, which is funny. He loves passing. I don't know, but he is a scoring kind of dude too, so I don't know. Okay. Would you rather play an amazing game but lose or play an average game and win? I would definitely want to play an amazing game but lose, because that means that you came to play, you were prepared, the other person came to play, the other team came to play, and you brought it, and they brought it, and you learned, and you grew, and they learned, and they grew, and it was fun. It just makes it more fun when it's an amazing game. Yeah, it would be a bummer to lose, but who wants to play an average game and you just win and it's like, okay, ho-hum, blah, blah, blah. That gets boring after a while, I'm just going to say. It also depends on the stakes. Like if you're like championship, if you just want to go to the championship and you just want to win, it doesn't matter, There's that too. Would you rather be a legendary coach or a legendary player? Player, bro. Definitely player. Definitely player. So much more fun. Would you rather play indoors or outdoors? Ooh. it depends on what sport. Outdoors. It would be more fun outdoors. Would you rather retire for a year or play but not score for a season? Oh, that'd be so hard. I'd rather play but not score for a season. Because then you still get to play, instead of just not get to play at all. I think, yeah. Would you rather peak early or late in your career? Go ninja, go ninja, go. I think maybe peak late. Because if you peak early, then it's like, oh, I already peaked, I'm done. You might quit. Or if you peak late, maybe you can keep playing, I don't know. I think late, because you can kind of grow, That's probably, I don't know. There's no right or wrong, I guess. Would you rather coach a game wearing a suit or a polo? Ooh, polo. Duh. Would you rather sweat an embarrassing amount or need to hydrate every 5 minutes? Need to hydrate every 5 minutes would be impossible for some sports. But I think I would want to rehydrate because sweating an embarrassing amount would be so annoying. They're both annoying. Well, right now, since I'm not doing that, I would want to say rehydrate. All right, I am coming to the end of my awakeness. I'm so sorry that I always have to record these at night. I do apologize. I'm sorry for that. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast a little bit, a lot of it, however much you did. And I hope you will leave a review and comment anything you want. Please subscribe, and I will be doing part 2 with hopefully a fun guest next week. Thank you so much for listening. Love you. Bye-bye.